Welcome to this flight of the Retail Pilot. I'm your host, Ken Pilot, former CEO and current brand advisor, retail tech investor, and board member. I'm thrilled to share with you the insights from some of retail's leaders and legends, as well as my perspective on retail today. This podcast is sponsored by the following. Predict Spring is a global point-of-sale platform live in 22 countries. The platform includes mobile POS, endless aisle, fulfillment, inventory management, and clienteling, creating a true omni experience for customers and associates. Predict Spring powers Suit Supply, Converse, Lovesac, Decium, Janie and Jack, and Bouclair. Breakfast helps brands like HelloFresh, Perfume.com, and QVC increase revenue across Meta and TikTok by creating hundreds of user-generated content video ads. The Breakfast Creator Network, with over 5,000 strong, produces original content that is authentic to each platform and built to drive performance, all done in as little as 3 weeks. Check out breakfast.io. That's BRKFST.io. Welcome to this week's KPOV for Post-Turkey Day Roundup. Big headline of the weekend, Michigan beats Ohio State 30-24. Go Blue. As far as retail goes, we saw record sales for Black Friday weekend with a 7.5% increase over last year, almost $10 billion in sales. More than half of that came via mobile devices. Winners include the electronics space, with the losers in the home space. The growth for the weekend was about 1% comp in stores and 8% in online sales compared to last year. Today, Cyber Monday, we're forecasting a $12 billion day, which would be a record. My guess is this really reflects a pent-up demand of the negative retail sales we've seen over the past 7 months, and probably points to what will be the most promotional retail season that we've experienced in years. And now, back to our previously recorded podcast. On this week's flight of the Retail Pilot, I'm excited to have both Veronica Miele Beard and Veronica Swanson Beard on the podcast. Veronica Miele Beard is from North Caldwell, New Jersey, and hails from the world of finance. She worked in sales and trading at multiple investment banks on Wall Street and did a stint in ad sales at Vogue before becoming a partner and COO at technology hedge fund Coatue, where she learned to take risks and build a business. A mother of 5, Veronica loves to travel and take her kids off the grid. Veronica Swanson Beard grew up on both coasts, in San Francisco, California, and Naples, Florida. Her career in fashion started at Narciso, Rodriguez, and Alberta Ferretti in wholesale and as a buyer at Marissa Collections in Florida. If not a fashion designer, this mother of 3 would be flipping real estate and designing interiors. Together, they have built a business in excess of $250 million in sales. Welcome to this week's podcast of the Retail Pilot. Super excited to be here today with Veronica Miele Beard and Veronica Swanson Beard. Welcome to the show. It's great to have you both.
Thank you.
It's been a few years since we last connected. I think at this office. You've been at this office since you've launched the company?
Yes. Pretty much.
Year 3.
Yeah. Since year 3.
So I think everyone is really excited to know how first the two of you met, having the same first name, and how you ended up together and started the company. So I'm just going to turn it over to VMB to start, and VSB, feel free to chime in, and we'll talk about the journey.
It's been a wild ride. A wild, amazing, amazing ride.
How did you guys meet? Was it at a wedding?
Yes. So Veronica and I were both invited to a friend's wedding. And I think it was a setup for Veronica and her husband, because they were seated together at our table. I was pregnant, already married, and Veronica was sitting at the table, and people kept saying, "You have to meet the other Veronica." I'm like, there is one? There's no such thing as another Veronica, no. And so I met Veronica, and she can tell you the rest.
We were seated at this table. Jamie, my husband, was my dinner partner, who was charming and very flirty and adorable. And the whole time I was thinking, there's this Veronica Beard sitting across from me. There's no way that this is going anywhere. There's never going to be two Veronica Beards. And I swear I'm not like that psycho girl that was like already getting married.
You were thinking about that at that time?
Well, I was, because it was
the name.
it was so bizarre. Like, we've never met another Veronica in the world, and here I am with this guy who's like really pursuing me at this dinner.
And
Anyway.
I loved it. I was like, Jamie, get on that.
Oh my God. I was like,
And she was
no
like,
way.
not happening.
No, but we were together from that night on and got married, and Veronica and I became great friends. And then Jamie and I got married, and we were sisters-in-law, but always with this mutual love of fashion, obsession over product, would be at every social event or family event in a corner talking about the new shoes of the season, or the bag, or that brand, or, the European brand that we wanted to bring over, the maternity clothes. We started having babies, and Veronica was in finance and had this great business mind, and I was in fashion and had a lot of, connections in the fashion world. And we came together over product, but really with this idea of a uniform for women. And the first piece was the jacket, which we're known for, the Dickie jacket. And that's our signature, Veronica Beard core item. And the line's grown ever since.
And you moved over from finance, but you were at VSB. You were working in, who were you working with at the time in the fashion space that you were before joining?
So I had gotten after college. I went to Parsons, dropped out of Parsons because I was offered a job with Narciso Rodriguez. Worked in wholesale for Narciso, then worked in wholesale for Alberta Ferretti, and then I became a buyer, buying office for Marissa Collections in New York. So I had the wholesale side and the buying side, which was an amazing background to have. I'm a creative person my entire life, so I really understood product, but having both of those sides, I think, was so amazing going into this business. And so I knew people in, sales, I knew people in PR, and that's how we were able to like get some doors open to us, people that hooked us up with pattern makers or, factories in the garment district. And that's how we were able to start sort of in that way. But that was like just one half of it, starting a bank account, talking to lawyers.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I came from finance, but I found myself, I was the absolute customer. So I had a different vantage. I wasn't in supply. I wasn't in creation, but I was on the end. I was at the other side, looking at the Net-a-Porter drops. I don't know if you remember when Net-a-Porter had the map, and we were talking about AI before, and they were on this way before. So I'd be on a trading desk. And by the way, I work with all men. I have brothers. I'm an athlete. I'm like business minded, but really entrepreneurial minded, because I just look at the landscape in a different way. So I would go to work, and here I am with all blue suits and black suits and men. And I was the woman with the red bag. And I had all these shoes under my desk. And the trading desk was my runway for fashion. I was like the different one. Like, who the hell is she? And, I paved my way. I moved to a lot of firms and eventually started a hedge fund with brilliant technology analysts. But until then, I found myself not only like just being the fashion girl in finance, which was so different from what they had seen. And I saw the void for a uniform for these women who are getting up. We're having babies. We have to have the same kind of job as a man. What do we wear? They wear a suit and tie. What am I putting on? What's the quick 1, 2, 3, and I can get out the door? But also, why can't I be a fashionista in finance? Why can't I be a doctor and look like a model? It wasn't just for the fashion world. I truly loved it. And I also, a lot of people in finance get pigeonholed for, oh, you're a business brain, you can't design. Hell no. You got to really find yourself. Like, everyone's multifaceted, and we celebrate at Veronica Beard multifaceted women. We had this first marketing campaign, which was a slash series, and it was finding all the different sides of a woman. A woman is smart, and she is creative, and she is, nuts and bolts, very matter of fact, right?
Now, were you at this point, so this is purely wholesale. You're not doing anything online yet.
Correct.
You're not even touching
No,
it.
we had like our own trunk shows.
This is
So
just
we're on
keeping
the
up with the
road. Yeah.
demand.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
It was just supply demand.
Yeah.
We did not, create a store until how many years in?
7. The wholesale business really changed year 3 when we switched our positioning. So we started the business at Opening Designer, which was this, sort of no man's land in the wholesale business when we started in 2010. And that was, to have this like Opening Designer, a little bit more expensive, kind of, smaller brands. And that's where we were positioned in Saks. And obviously department stores, dictate what your positioning is based on your real estate on the floor, right?
And your price.
Well, right, but they can put you in a bunch of different places, but they tell you if you're
Advanced contemporary versus
or
opening designer.
opening designer or designer, depending on what floor you're on. So anyway, we were on the opening designer floor, but all the action was on the contemporary floor. And if you went there, the misconception was that contemporary was much younger and it was this like model off duty and, it was all these young kids and whatever. It wasn't. It was all women that were our age, moms, young women, starting their careers, older women. I mean, it was just, the amount of foot traffic on that floor was definitely the biggest. So we knew that that's actually where we had to go. And what happened was when we took on our investors, year 3, so they're minority investors, we repositioned to advanced contemporary and we took our price point down by 30% and didn't change a thing. We just prayed that the demand would be there and it worked. And we filled this gap, which was like designer appeal. It was like more classic. It was, more elevated on that floor than what was there because it was very like Alex Wang and it was young and trendy and really like kind of hard to wear at times, unless you were like
more fashion victim. Less, there was a huge void for this classic, but with a twist and this luxury appeal. So we have a huge crossover of luxury shoppers. Remember in '08 when the market crashed, luxury took a huge hit and women were not paying $3,000 for a suit anymore,
Well, they're back.
So they're back, but are they? Because, luxury is getting clipped again.
Yeah.
But we are still plugging away and we keep growing. And we've struck, this woman who she can get a Veronica Beard suit and have a Chanel bag, or,
Well, that
more
kind
to
of
come on that, but
leads me to a question. If I were to look into the closet of a Veronica Beard customer, or I look into the Veronica Beard closet, what other designers, what other brands would I find in that closet?
so many. And I think that that's the beauty of women is that today it's not, you're not loyal to one brand. I think women are very savvy shoppers. I think having the ability to shop online, you can be anywhere. You don't have to be in Bergdorf Goodman where you only have these brands or you're only in Zara or you're only in Chanel. You can be everywhere. And I think that really it's about creating the best product because anybody can make a blazer. We always say, truly, you have to build a brand around the product, right? It's like a jacket's a
the
jacket.
product's not good. She ain't coming back.
But if you put that jacket on, it's like that woman makes that jacket. She lives in it. She does her thing in it. It becomes something other than this inanimate object on a rack, and then she puts that on and whatever that brand, whatever that means to her, she carries that with her. So it's like there's many parts to the romance of, clothing and brands and all the things. And I think, really identifying that in your own brand and then having your customer really identifying that and that loyalty that's built on that is what, real businesses are made out.
We study data. We go on the road. We meet them. We see what people are wearing. It's very much about feeling it and seeing the feedback from women who say, I wear my Veronica Beard blazer to work and I slay dragons. I feel like $1,000,000. We did a Wonder Woman collaboration and we called it the Wonder Woman cape. You put that on and you feel like $1,000,000. And the number one reason why somebody returns to a brand is because it fit them.
Well, speaking of that,
number one.
my wife said, and she's a pro. You talk about your your position when you were at the hedge fund and the shoes underneath the table. My wife can be out there with the best of them. She's a stylist.
She's a product junkie.
She is. But she said your denim, the fit is amazing.
Yeah.
And I spent a few years at Gap where I ran Gap denim.
Right.
And I knew when we nailed the fit on a pair of women's jeans
Very
that you own her.
Yeah.
It's how you make her butt look.
That's right.
The pocket placement.
Size of the pocket, how high it is.
Quality, whatever the wash. We studied denim for a long time.
So denim has become a really integral part of your business.
Yes.
I mean, is that the key bottom really for your business today?
Yeah. I mean, I think that American uniform is denim. For us, it's jeans, a blazer, and a top.
I'm checking. They're wearing denim.
You're not wearing it today, but yes. I mean, you go around here and this is what everyone's wearing every day. And that is sort of like the modern suit, of American sportswear. But denim for us is the easy bottom, like there is suits, obviously, and we call them sets because they're easier to break apart. You can wear great pants with a great sweater or a blouse and heels or boots or sneakers or whatever. But denim is the casualization of Veronica Beard. And that is a super important part of.
And women, studying the customer, will spend, hunt, do whatever they can do to get the right pair of jeans. Because that is your Wonder Bread, right? It's like jeans are incremental to American fashion forever.
That's how you keep a customer.
Yeah. And so being women in this too, like we road test stuff, we wear it around. We both sit in every fitting and we're maniacal about the details and the pocket placement, and the jean has to, sing. And then there's a girl who's not so tall. So what's she wearing? And then there's a girl that's, plus size. What's she wearing? So we really think about all the different shapes. There's something for everyone and for everywhere that she's going.
Let's take a quick break with a word from our sponsors. Bluecore's software solution turns anonymous online shoppers into known customers and repeat customers. Bluecore enables retailers to personalize and optimize their email, SMS, and site marketing campaigns by delivering targeted and relevant messages based on where every customer is in their journey. Bluecore replaces annoying high-volume messaging with high-value messaging. Customers include Alo Yoga, Neiman Marcus, and Gap. Where do you travel to get inspired? Where does inspiration come from for what's next at Veronica Beard?
I mean, everywhere is inspiration. I think actually for me, it really is the most inspiration I get is from all of our events and meeting the women that we're selling to, because it's what they're wearing, it's what they want, it's, the lifestyle conversation that we're talking about all the time. I mean, just looking around, it's not for me, it's not going to some far off place that isn't relevant to the clothes that we're wearing, because our brand is all about this lifestyle and this woman's, constant movement and the things that she's doing. And so I think anywhere that I'm near that's really inspiring.
But if you're looking for texture or color or fabrics,
I get tremendous inspiration. I'm a globetrotter and I've taken my kids everywhere around this world. And when I got to China, or Japan or Tibet, okay, really, really far away off the grid, seeing women there and seeing the same fight, the same, I want to go back to work, the same, I want to be equal to a man. I want to look beautiful. Women are the same everywhere, it turns out, I feel. And I love markets, right? So it's we're selling in Seoul, Korea right now, and it's doing well. And it's fascinating to me. We saw a bunch of the celebrities there wearing it and talking about it and seeing this lifestyle that we created here. It's the perfect uniform for her here. It's working there. And how is she wearing it? And what are the colors over there? What's, maybe the zeitgeist there is skincare. So how do you break into that skincare market, that customer? She needs to try a jacket, and maybe this is new for her. And all of a sudden the jacket is the big get. And this jacket, for instance, it's this sweater with all of this fringe and it's crazy, right? But this print is kind of Moroccan, kind of tile print. I took my kids to the Silk Road and we learned how to make ECAT, speaking of Madeline Weinreich, and to see the natural colors, just like all of fashion goes back, it goes back to the American Indian, the beginning of time, right? It's been Cleopatra. And so for me, I see it like so fascinating how different cultures come together with skincare and beauty and what are they wearing on their makeup and what's next.
It's fun. I mean, today is Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Would kind of love to know what you guys are going out as because I don't think you're going to miss this opportunity. Okay, anyone? VMB, VSB,
I'm not
what do we
being
got?
Barbie because Barbie's going to be the big costume.
But
I love Barbie.
remember, I'm Ken, so go easy.
Right.
Oh
Right. I know. I always say, like, you don't want to be treated like Barbie. And I'm like, but do you? I mean, that was a brilliant movie this time.
No, I'm not. It's so funny. I'm not a huge Halloween person. Never have been. But I am wearing enormous these amazing rhinestone spider earrings to go trick or treating with my son. And that's it.
Yeah, I'm just wearing this. I told you, this is my Halloween jacket.
Got it.
I look like a scarecrow. It's fashion.
So let's pivot a little bit. Let's talk about really moving from what began as a wholesale company. Now you're going direct to consumer. You're opening your own stores. You're beginning to roll them out. You're looking internationally. Don't know how you got into Seoul, Korea. We'll touch on that. But big transition from wholesale to retail. Talk a little bit more about that experience that you're providing the customer today in your stores. And if we were to look out 36 months, 5 years, how much of the business, the Veronica Beard business, will be direct to consumer versus wholesale?
Well, I think we have a very conscious pivot to direct because we can control our business better that way. I mean, we started as a wholesale business and owe so much of our success, our growth, our knowledge of the business to that. And still, it's a huge, huge part of our business and something that we're very loyal to and love our partners. But I think what happens is as you're growing and you want to really express who you are as a brand, it's hard to do that with wholesale partners. And so for us, we had opened our first store on Madison 7 years ago. At the same time, we really started to invest in our website. And it was all about storytelling and giving this environment to this brand and, doing that both in brick and mortar and online and, really creating this world of situation, what we stand for, the women that we surround ourselves with, what we are on top of the clothes, and our stores became these community hubs for our customer. All of the stores are very interior focused, so it feels like a home. You sit on a couch, you drink coffee, you do your emails, your husband's there, your friends come, so there's that. And it also became these places where we would have all of our events and our, shop for causes and would host trunk shows for other brands. And so all of the stores and we have now 31 stores, all of the stores have become these satellite homes of Veronica Beard. And it's so fun to build that across the country and now across the world because we're international. We have a store in London and we have these 3 shop-in-shops in Seoul.
We just got into Harrods this year.
Oh, that's great.
It's a big, interesting demographic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say too that one thing that we started with a product. I think we were known for that jacket and that diggy. And slowly, as the brand builds and we study our customer, we use a lot of data. As I said, we do a lot of customer surveys. We do a lot of getting on the road and actually seeing what's going on. And you meet the customer, and sometimes the customer isn't what you were expecting. And so many learnings, so many different demographics that we play to. And we can do that in our stores. And two, through the internet, through building that direct side, I feel is through speaking engagements like this. The customer not only thinks about the jacket and the dicky, but they think about women, and we like to say our customer is a mover and a shaker and a doer and a maker. And, what Veronica said, you put the clothes on, it's like, what does this brand mean to me? And what does it stand for? And we're becoming more of a brand in the last couple of years than ever before. Than just a product place. Like, oh, that Veronica Beard. Who is Veronica Beard? What does that stand for? What does that mean?
So you've hired some great people, and I've had the good fortune of working with some like Stephanie Unwin, who's been here for a number of years, your president, and she's super. Outside advisors, outside investors, who have you relied on to help you with strategy? Because you really did come to this business without living in the business, though VSB, you did have time on the wholesale side, but the whole idea of rolling out stores, direct to consumer, building a company, who are some of your key outside partners that have helped provide you guidance, act as mentors in this journey?
Mine have been really along the way at the different points in our business. So when we started, I had been at IFA where I actually met Steph when I was 22. And we worked for Michelle Stein, who is just a legend in the fashion industry. She ran IFA for, I think, 30 years. And she was such an incredible boss because her attention to detail. So for on the wholesale side, her attention to detail, how things were presented, the layup of a brand to a customer when they came in, the experience they had with that brand in the environment, how things were displayed, how, a lookbook was shot, or how, how they marketed to those stores that they were bringing in. So she was very important to me when we first started. Also, Marissa was very important to me because her view on building a brand and the customer were huge. I mean, understanding the way that like you have to know at that right moment what a customer wants. Like the nuances for us were like classics with a twist. The brand hasn't changed a lot in the clothes that we've sold, but it has to be like a little nuance. It has to be changing and staying the same, is what I say all the time. So she was really helpful in that. And then Andrew Rosen is one of our investors, and he has been, since the minute he became an investor, to me, a very, very big mentor to me. He's somebody that I always call, like, when I have questions or, thinking through things. And for retail, he was huge.
I mean, he is probably, if I think about those out there in the retail space, kind of the godfather of
He's the
success,
godfather. And
from theory to rag and bone, for those people who don't know. But if you don't know Andrew Rosen, you should Google him, because a long line of success.
He is.
What I love about him.
He is literally when we realized we need to take on investors, it was very specific. I was like, this is the two people. It was Andrew Rosen and John Howard, and Jacques Pelagian was our friend because we knew him through the industry. But it was very,
one of our first
it was very specific to get. Andrew and John were huge
Great investors.
And then Lou Frankfurt was also
another legend.
Yeah, legend. Yeah.
What I revel in what they've taught us, and some of it is just Andrew uses his intuition. Like sometimes he'll come out with something that's over here, and I'm like, wow, like you saw it like that, because he stands away from markets. And when I was in Wall Street, I moved up the ladder. I traded the markets. That was my main job on behalf of companies. And when you do that, you see how people, there's a sociology about it. You see, we call them like sheep, right? Everybody runs in, so I'm going to be selling. It's like that. And then I meet Philippe, and Philippe Lafond, Coatue, is what we built. So I was there day one, and he was 100% about supply and demand. But he and I both studied Steve Jobs, because Steve wasn't, he wasn't the writer of software, but he knew A, that we all needed this phone, and B, how it was going to look and its functionality and how it was going to fit into your life. And so we always quoted him. We always talked about, never build a stadium before you get the fans. We're not going to put ourselves out there. And it was my job there was to like run the place, like hire the smart people, but also how is it going to get done and how are we going to make money? What's our margin going to be? Steph has been incredible business mind and retail fashion mind. She is a lot to do with our strategy. And when we started this, the internet was very incremental. When Lou Frankfurt was at Coach, or when Andrew was at Theory originally, AI didn't exist, Instagram didn't exist, the phone didn't really exist. So I've learned so much from them here. It's like a gut thing with customer, with growth, but there's this whole other layer that they've kind of learned from us because we're out there in this market and seeing like even online growth. Like they didn't have that at Theory originally, you know. Tori Hirsch didn't have it when she started. I mean, we're in this different sort of evolution of this business. We're all learning together. And I love hearing about a lot of our success comes from lessons that we learned, which are the rudimentary things in fashion, right? And it's like capturing that customer and what's going to make her actually spend the money, not just put it in her cart on the Net-a-Porter map, but actually making the credit card ring. It's the same as it ever was. But these layers of data that we can assess and these different ways to reach her are so new and technologically important that I think we're all still learning. And, you know, Steph just said, we got to sit down and go over our marketing the last couple of months and where we hit her and where we didn't. Like we still are refining.
So you have the A team behind you in terms of those who've experienced retail, lived retail, and built companies. And now you have the A team working for you. You just mentioned marketing, reaching the customer. It's become a bit tougher as some of the rules online have changed. What's working for Veronica Beard to reach her, not only to get her to buy more, but to reach new customers?
Being in person, I think.
I agree.
Forever and ever.
That's what I mean. It's the same thing as it ever was.
So the stores for you are most critical in terms of giving that experience, creating that vibe, and bringing her in.
It's so flooded. I mean, even when you look at like, it used to say that you needed to see things 3 times for it to like for marketing to make an impression. Now it's like 8 or 10, I think, and I think it's even more than that. I mean, really, we're so inundated with marketing and imagery and all the stuff. Like to walk by a store, if your face isn't in your phone, to actually like take something in or to go experience it, it's such a different immersive experience than just like flashing through your phone. And it really, you need to see it. And there's times where I'm looking at my phone and I'm like, I need to go back actually and look at that and realize like what they're trying to sell me, because I've seen it so many times and it's registered, but I don't know, what it is. So I think truly when we are with customers, old customers, new customers, they get to see the product, who we are, what our brand's about, then it's like, that's when the credit card brings,
3 greatest challenges facing Veronica Beard today.
I think there's always someone nipping at your toes. So keeping your blinders on about your brand, but also being aware of the competition, the macro environment, whether it's, political or economic or COVID or whatever it is. And then just, being true to who you are as a brand. I think that that's very important. I think if it's like if you stand for nothing, you fall for everything. And I think really being honest about who we are as a brand is really important.
I agree.
Ready for rapid fire?
Yeah.
We're going to conclude with this. Okay. Favorite vacation spot, and do you vacation together?
No, we don't vacation together.
Do you get a break? All right. VSB, where's your favorite vacation spot?
Oh, I really love beaches. I'm a Cancer. We're both Cancers, but I love to be on a beach. I mean, I'm a very, very, very hyper ADD.
This is rapid fire.
Creative person.
Rapid fire. These are short. Pick a beach.
Yeah,
Let's
beach.
go.
Just any beach. Any beach.
Give me a beach.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have 5 kids. I want to be with my kids in a cultural experience. It could be at the beach or it could be in a city. It could be somewhere, but that's what I like.
Guilty pleasure. VMB.
Glass of wine, red, and it has to be really good.
VSB.
Shopping.
I think I know the answer. Carry on or check in.
Check-in. I mean, we carry on all the
Whatever.
time.
You carry on now.
I hate carrying on.
All right.
Yeah, I hate it, but I do carry on.
Dog or cat?
Dog.
Cat.
VMB. Oh, okay. Good. Do you dress your husbands or can they dress themselves? VMB.
He dresses himself. He's a suit guy.
Jamie Beard has awesome style, and he has learned some things from me, but he has his own very, very cool, distinct style.
Favorite place to shop other than Veronica Beard? VSB.
Zara.
Elise Walker.
Good answer. Okay. We've already talked about inspiration. Favorite streamed show? VMB.
Breaking Bad.
Daisy Jones and the Six.
Who would you most like to meet? VSB.
I'm just going to keep it to fashion. Halston.
Michael Jordan.
The athlete in you.
I'm a
Yeah.
huge basketball.
She's a
Final question. VMB and VSB, you're getting this one too. A piece of clothing or accessory you can't live without.
Dickie jacket.
a Dickie jacket or heels.
And with that, we'll land this flight of the retail pilot. Veronica, thank you so much for joining
Thank
me
you,
today. It was
Ken.
so fun.
Oh, you're awesome.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's flight of the Retail Pilot. And please give us a review on your favorite podcast platform.